All right, we're gonna start working the top side of our mixed martial arts series, specifically our guard passing. Now this series, this control position that I'm working on, it works very well for mixed martial arts, no-gi grappling and gi grappling. It's an excellent way to control from the top of half guard. Now usually when I'm dealing with someone experienced, I don't always try to get past the guard in one shot. I don't try and pass and get completely clear, and I've completely avoided his half guard and any other kind of guard on the way. With more experienced guys, that can be a very difficult task. So often I'll try and force them to use half guard, and then I'll pass the half guard after that. Because going into half guard gives me a certain amount of control over their body, allows me to secure the position of it before I finish my pass. So we're going to be dealing with one series. I call this the heavy half mount. So from here, we're just assuming you've got the closed guard open somehow. I'm going to be pinning his knee down. Often I'll be having my hand on the hip, and I'll be from here. Now from here, I'll push the knee in and come around so that I'm pinching his knee in between my knees. Okay? Now a lot of times when you're doing this, his right leg, he's going to be automatically hooking behind my knee like that because he instinctually tries to grab onto some kind of guard, and that's just part of the deal. I'm going to be pinching my knees together, and I'm going to start with my elbows fairly close to my ribs, kind of like a T-Rex position. Got my arms in. My goal is to make my arms come in a straight line, right up, underneath his armpit, underneath his neck. I'm trying not to come in like this, because if I do that, he's going to go for an underhook, and he might be able to take advantage of this position. So I'm trying to come in so that I get the underhook. So I'm coming in low, my head comes down, and I pummel in. I'm trying to go for that space between his head and his shoulder, and under his armpit. I'm going to cup at the base of the neck and the shoulder. This hand cups the neck right away, this hand cups the shoulder. I'm going to drive forward and put my shoulder on his neck, or on his jaw, but I'm cupping his neck. I don't have my arm deep underneath his neck because I don't want to trap it and maybe so that he can use it for reversing me. I'm holding with my hand. Then I'm going to use my shoulder to turn his head. I want him to look to the right as much as possible because he's always trying, or to the left as much as possible because he's always trying to turn onto his right side. So turn his head. For my other arm, let's turn this way. I'm going to take this hand and cup the shoulder. I'm cupping, and I'm going to raise this elbow up as much as possible so that he can't pin my elbow against my side. If he wraps this up, he might be able to roll me to his left. So I'm keeping my elbow wide the whole time. So ultimately, even though I'm holding him, both my elbows are wide because now I can use my left and my right elbow for base. Okay, this is a very strong position. Now, the most important part is my leg position. The upper body helps a lot, but the lower body helps even more. I'm going to take my right foot, and I'm going to try and use the area just above my ankle joint to hook on the outside of his right knee. Okay? I'm starting off with my hips turned just slightly because it makes it easy to get access to that knee. Now, as soon as I'm here, I'm going to start to twist his knee to my right and twist my knee in. So I start to rotate, and as I rotate, I square up to him. The goal is to make it so that his knee is always pointing up at the ceiling. He wants to escape by pointing his knee towards the camera. So turn on your right side. And then once his knee's pointing that way, he can slip his knee up and in front of my hip, he can start to escape. So I'm always trying to hook that knee with my ankle and turn it. And I'll use my other knee to pinch his knee, make it harder for him to get that leg out. Because now once I got this upper body control and the lower body control, if he tries to turn on his side, it can be very difficult. Okay? Now my left leg, it has two positions. Sometimes I'm pinching my knees together. Sometimes I put this leg out for base. Often I'll start here though, just so I got a little bit extra control over his leg. But you got to float between these two. You can't just leave it in one or the other. So let's do that again. So we're here. I managed to pin. Sometimes you might even have his foot on your hip like that, and it feels like you can't go forward. I hold his knee to the floor. I lift my leg up really high and come right over top of that ankle and clear it. Pinching my knees together. T-Rex position, drop your head, shoulder shrug, start to come in, grab the shoulder, grab the neck, drive his head down, flare that underhook up, and then hook his knee and start to turn, keeping your stomach forward and keeping your head low. Now from here, he does not like this position. If you watch his feet, a lot of times when we're here, he'll try and free his legs. He'll use his left foot to push down on my ankle to try and free it. Go back. When I'm here. So when I feel that, he starts to push. I'm going to resist, and then all of a sudden I let go and I hook with my left leg. Now I've got a hook with my left leg. I'm also going to use my right leg out here for base. So So if he's trying to bridge left or right, I got good base here, okay? Then he'll often get sick of this position. So he'll use his same foot to push down on my heel. I fight, and then I switch. And you kind of try and keep him trapped here for a good amount of time because it's hard to get out of. I'll do this one more time. He pushes, I switch, my foot's out for base, my knee's off the floor, and then once again he pushes, and I switch. All right. Now the last thing we're going to do. Once we get in that position, I pin my knees together, I pummel in, bring my head in low, grab the shoulder, grab the neck, turn the head, flare that elbow out, and twist that knee. He switches his feet again. I hook. Now, when I'm in this position, I've got my left arm under his neck, and essentially my left leg is trapped. It's kind of like the oompa from the mount. He could maybe roll me to this side. And when he's feeling really stuck, a lot of times people will panic and they'll try and do this. Now what I'm waiting for is I'm waiting for the deep breath. A lot of times when guys are about to bridge and roll in an explosive manner, they go, and they take this huge breath. Right now my ear's right next to his mouth, so I should be able to hear it. You'll also often feel this bicep come back. They'll bring it back in preparation to bat you right in the head with it. So when you feel that arm start to wind up, and especially if you hear that breath come in, you know they're probably going to bridge you. Okay, so let's go back. So when he bridges, my hand that's underneath the neck, that's one of the reasons I don't put my elbow there. I hold with the hand. If I hold with the elbow, my arm's going to get stuck. If I hold with the hand as he bridges, I can use my hand for base. Let's go back. Last one. Now, what I'm going to do is make him really fight that bridge. So he's bridging super hard. As he bridges, I pass my right knee over top and I hook behind his knee. And I use that foot to pull myself back down because he's on his side right now. I drive with my hips and drive him down. Maintain good control of his arm so that he can't get any posture to escape. And then I can look to reassume control of his upper body again. So let's do that again. So let's just turn a bit so they can see my legs. So we get all the way into here. So we'll do it again. So right here, I push down on the knee, pinch, pummel in, shoulder and neck, turn the head, turn that knee. He switches the leg control. I go to here. He does a big bridge. I plant my hand. I keep my hips driving forward. Pass this leg and hook the knee, and then tear that leg out from under him. Flattening him out. Control the bicep. I can cross my legs and then reassume control of the head. Okay? This leg control is very important because although we're controlling the neck and the underhook at the same time, the leg control gives us a lot of freedom to use our arms for base left and right. And eventually for mixed martial arts, it's going to free up my arms enough that I can add the odd shot to the ribs or the head with my hand or my elbow. If I have very little control of his lower body, a lot of times when I open up to try and strike him, he's going to escape his hips and place me in guard, and I lose some of that control I already had. So starting off with good control of the lower body can save you a lot of work in the long run.